In order to open a limited company in Hong Kong, you will need several things. You will need a name followed by limited. You will need M&As. This is the Memorandum and Article of Association. You will need one founder. You will need one director. You will need a share capital. You will also need a registered address and a company secretary. So we'll see in an instant, one by one, what does it mean and what do you exactly need. The first requirement for you to open your company in Hong Kong is to have a company name that will be followed by limited. It can be almost whatever you want, but you have to make sure it has not been taken yet. And to do that, you have to have a look at the Hong Kong Company Registry. You can have a look at this link just here. Really important to know, incorporating your business in Hong Kong doesn't mean that your trademark is protected. If you want to protect your trademark, your logo, your name, your color for your business, you have to apply separately for this trademark. In Hong Kong, it's pretty cheap. It's around 1,200 Hong Kong dollars, which is around 155 US dollar. The second thing you will need is M&As. And M&A is basically your memorandum and articles of association. So it explains how the organization works, when it does the important meeting, what is the exit procedure for the partners, and you have to arrange a draft for the government. But don't worry, if you're a small business, you don't have to think too much. Your accountant can provide you some M&As, like ready-made, standard, and you can also download some on the Hong Kong government website. So extremely simple, you don't really have to think too much about it. The third thing you have to provide is the shareholders. So the shareholders, you need at least one. You need to provide his name and his address, and this address can be overseas. The fourth thing you need to start your business in Hong Kong will be a director. It can be only one person, and the good news, it can also be the same as the shareholder. So it can be both shareholder and director of your company. You have to provide to the Hong Kong government the name of the director and his Hong Kong ID or passport. The fifth thing you will need to set up your business in Hong Kong will be a share capital. The common practice is to release 10,000 shares of $1 Hong Kong dollars each. But in theory, you can simply release one share of $1. It works as well. The last thing you need for your incorporation will be your address. The address will normally be your office address, but if you don't have office in Hong Kong, no worries. You can simply rent a virtual office. This will cost you around 1,500 Hong Kong dollars a year. So what will the company secretary do for you? Well, they will help you with the annual return. So every year you have to file the annual return to the company registrar within 42 days after the company's annual incorporation date. The fee is 105 Hong Kong dollars. And in case of late filing, you might be subject to 1,000 Hong Kong dollars per day penalty. But that's the maximum. Normally, you never get there. The annual return states if there is any change during the year, such as shareholders, directors, company secretary changes. Even if there is no change during the year, you still need to send the return with the same information as the previous year. The company secretary will also help with the change of shareholder, change of directors. So each time you have different shareholders or different director, you have to call your company secretary and they will help you. They will also help with the annual general meeting. And this meeting has to be arranged 9 months after the company's year end. So every year as well. The company secretary will arrange the director and shareholders meeting before the AGM. They will help you with the items to discuss during the AGM. They will help you with the auditor's report, and they will help you to approve the accounts for last year. They will also help you with the EGM and the minute taking.
And finally, they will keep the registers and minutes book properly in the registered office. So no worries about the point number 4. It might look a bit big, but if you are an entrepreneur on your own, a single entrepreneur, no worries, because this will basically be a meeting with yourself. And so the AGM is just you and yourself. If you are sole shareholder, sole director, and there is no changes, basically you don't really need to go through the AGM. But what you will do is you will have a meeting with the company secretary, and they will help you to fill all the paper, because you still have to fill in the paper.